Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Initial DIY Mods. So today we actually get a whole hell of a lot done to the GSX. Now, as you guys remember, it ran super bad. This is what it sounded like before. And we're actually really hoping to get that fixed in this episode. We are so close to pulling that engine. I cannot wait. But before we get to the episode, I just want to say a couple of quick things. The shop is now live. Check it out at initialDIYmods.com/shop. Super simple. Check it out. See if there's anything you guys like. I know I already ordered my shirts. They should be arriving here. I bought like 6 or 7 shirts. They should be here hopefully in the next week, which will be awesome, which means I can wear them on the next episode, which is going to be good. Also, if you guys want to keep following the build, for those that are not subscribed, please subscribe. Please like. If you have any suggestions, make sure to leave them in the comments below. Or if you guys just want to chat or whatever, once again, you can chat there. You can email me, check me out on the website. You can hit me up on facebook.com/initial DIY mod. So plenty of ways to reach out, plenty of ways to keep in touch. So let me know. Once again, thanks, and here's the video. Don't you just love when you pull your spark plug and you find water inside? Ooh, how exciting. That's exactly how things should be. Nice and wet and filled with, it's like an inch deep. And this might be part of the reason it wasn't running so hot. It's better on that side. Shit. And that could have been part of the reason it was running like shit. It is the right plug though. It's BPR 70S, the one-step colder plugs. Alright, looks like the second plug is covered in Doritos. Prime example of why I need to do a lot of work here. All this oil. But take a look. This is coming off the oil filter. This is the feed line, I believe, for the turbo, which is covered in oil. Yo, here we are in the car. Found my exhaust leak that I was wondering why it kept coming out so fast on one side, just gushing out. I was like, man, that must be like a really crazy flange. No, there's no O2 sensor in that hole. Well, I'm guessing that's where the wideband came from, because it's not there. So there's that. But I have this O2 plug, which I can plug up until I have enough time to get the engine running, and then eventually I'll set up the wideband. But this will do for now. Alright, so we took this whole thing apart. This thing was locked at 60 psi fuel pressure. The fuel pressure should actually be closer to 36 psi. So even 40 is at least closer. The automatics do have 40 psi, but this thing is it's a piece of shit. So we're going to swap this back in. We pretty much took it apart, cleaned the diaphragm, and there goes the tent. Alright, so before the fuel pressure regulator was actually zip tied to the firewall for some reason instead of mounted with screws. Fuel line is mounted to a ground. It's actually tearing the ground, which is, again, stupid. Obviously this thing's not tied down to anything, so there's a lot of things that we need to fix here before the car can actually be driven. You can see the magic that a little bit of heat shrink can do instead of electrical tape. And now that's not going to get sticky later on. That's just a cotter pin stuck in there. That's a horrible jumper, but I'll remake a wiring harness anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So this thing was completely wrapped in melted electrical tape. And basically, because of that small little frayed wire there, but it goes onto a normal spade connector. So you just grab one of these from any little tiny electrical kit, and it fits right on, and just push it on. So we're gonna recut that end and basically replace that fitting. So much better. I don't like the way it wraps around like that, but the sensor faces upward, so it's really stupid anyway. But once again, all gonna be fixed in the new wiring harness. All right, so with the fuel pump kicked on, it's on an independent switch. You can see the fuel pressure went down from 60, now it's sitting at 30, which is awesome. So we can go ahead and just gonna crack that set screw off. We're gonna turn this a bit, just turning it clockwise. until we get right in the middle there. We're gonna get to 35. So right there, 35 PSI. The exhaust gas recirculation has been removed on this engine. However, if you look here, it looks like when they removed the valve, they never cleaned the throttle body. So this throttle body is pretty filthy. See if I can hold it still here. Those little holes there, I believe, are for the idle air control. So this throttle body closes completely, and the idle is controlled by a bypass. All right, so you're not gonna believe this car is atrocious. So I got some home defense for the car. Thing is covered in ants. Don't even know what kind. They're like half black, half red. I have no idea what kind of ant that is, but it looks like it might be annoying if it bites me. There's spiders, there's fucking mosquitoes, there's flies. I'm sure there's ticks in there somewhere too, so I just sprayed the crap out of it. Sprayed the outside, sprayed the inside, sprayed all of it. The thing is grody. But hopefully that's gonna kill most of the bugs that are in there. All right, we are draining. This does not look good. Yeah. Not to mention that does not look like enough. Hopefully they didn't drive it like this. Those are steel chunks, which is not good. So this is a magnetic drain plug, and I guess that's the way it is from factory. And this is from the transfer case. So I don't know to what degree there's damage, but it looks like that transfer case is not doing so well. Doesn't seem like a huge amount, but again, you don't exactly want any in your transfer case. All right, so we also tested our throttle body. Aside from it being disgusting, our throttle position sensor is off spec. It never reads the closed throttle position. It's always reading a little bit open. So really, we're just not getting the right resistance in this. So I'm pretty sure that no matter how we adjust it, it's gonna be garbage and out of spec. So we're gonna replace that. Another reason I think it's not idling so well is this right here is the ISC, the idle speed, something or other. Idle speed sensor? IC, ISS? I don't remember what it is. And basically the ECU is supposed to be able to control idle speed. The motor in here is not working even though the coils read right. Parts. I did order some parts. So the throttle body related parts are here. This is the throttle position sensor. Here's our new one. So we ordered this from, I think, eBay. So basically this has a relative position, and it could be like that or anywhere in between, and that's going to basically set where your closed throttle and where your full throttle are. Alright, so you can see here 1.1 ohms. And what we're connecting now is pin 2. So it's 1, 2, and then there's a blank, and then there's 4. So we're connecting to pin 2, and we're connecting to pin 4. And we're getting 1.1. So what we're going to do to calibrate that is we're going to rotate this either clockwise or counterclockwise. So we rotated counterclockwise or anti-clockwise. Now it's down to 0.5. So what we want to do is adjust that till it's 0.9. That's perfect on spec. Now wide open throttle. You can see it goes over 5,000, 5.71, so it's going to register wide open throttle for us, which is good. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and finally get to fixing this. Just not only is it not secure and just unsafe and I don't feel comfortable with it, I found out it's actually supposed to mount inside the intake manifold, which is a little bit weird, but that's how it's done. So that's what we're going to do with our new coil pack. This one has been spoiled, and we ordered a new one. It finally arrived along with some other parts today. So we're going to go ahead and throw that in. Here we go. Hey, Chris Fix, you want to come clean my engine bay, please? This thing is dirty as fuck. Well, I got new lines just to get a clean spark, make sure everything's solved. But the issue is, I don't know where I'm going to mount anything yet. So if I put this in first, it'll tell me where I'm able to mount stuff from there. Alright, so now we have our throttle position sensor in place and our resistance is reading right on spec, which is going to be 0.9 kilo ohms. And then a wide open throttle, it's reading over 5,000 kilo ohms, so that should be good on the wide open register. We also went ahead and installed our new ISC, which is our idle speed control valve. So now we're just going to go ahead and reinstall our throttle body. Alright, so we got some spare pipe here from my SRT4 intake and chopped that up. Found another intake piece, a coupler that's a reducer that happened to work perfect for the OEM math adapter piece or cone thing or whatever. And then I just ordered this online to fit up here. And then that's going to basically fit right on our turbo on the inlet side. And eventually I will replace all of this stuff once I get a standalone ECU. To run a speed density, so a map and a temperature sensor that's going to calculate all this rather than having an ugly, giant, annoying math sensor. My previous cap was a little bit too big to get the boost leak tester on, so I'm going down a size here. So now we just stick this on with a coupler, pressurize it, and look for our boost leaks. Alright, so another boost leak test. Wearing safety glasses because y'all remember what happened last time. Yeah, we don't want to do that again. So once again, safety glasses, good idea, especially if a hose pops off, blows some dust or something. Got to pressurize here to about 20 psi. Alright, so I think I found all the leaks, or at least some of the major really loud ones. Alright, so what we're doing here is we're just testing the injectors. We're cutting off a little bit of hose and cycling through some Lucas injector cleaner through the injectors. And what we're doing to trigger here is we got a AA battery with some leads on it, and we are tapping them to the injector leads, and we are forcing those to cycle independently of any other controls. This allows us to independently test each injector as well as get a little bit of fluid in there to help dissolve some of those deposits that may have built up over time. Alright, so we have our multimeter set to resistance. So we're measuring ohms here. We have it on the 200 ohm scale. So basically it's going to read single digits. And what we're going to do here is going to start left to right. I'm going to show you actually the good cylinders, the good injectors here. Just going to touch pin contacts. And we have 2.9, 2.8 ohms of resistance. Now our second cylinder here, that is also 2.8 ohms. Now this fourth cylinder here, you can see that is also 2.8 ohms. Jumping back and forth there. But when we jump to this third cylinder here, you can see that we have, hold on, let me get a clean connection, 9.5 ohms. So this is why it wasn't triggering with one battery with 1.5 volts. All the other three were triggering. So it was opening and it was cycling the fluid, which was good, which is what we wanted. This one wouldn't cycle. It wasn't until we doubled the voltage that we actually got it to trigger into fire. So this one injector is bad. The coil in it, or the solenoid in it, is bad. It's out of spec. It's not able to trigger properly. So this is why we're running lean. We're actually running on 3 cylinders. So this cylinder, this cylinder, this cylinder were delivering the proper amounts of fuel. This cylinder was delivering none or less fuel than what it should, and we were idling at around 17 on the AFR. The richest we got was 16 on AFR, which again is way too lean. What we're going to have to do is replace this injector. What I'm going to end up doing is researching online if I can just get a set of flow matched 4 injectors, if I can get them shipped to me really quick. It's like Where's Waldo with tools. I'm pretty sure that right there, not on my finger. Damn it. Damn it. Focus back there, you fuck. That thing like right over there, that's a wrench. Like, where the fuck are these things coming from? How do you drop it in an easily visible area and then go, nah, fuck it.